Today, let's talk about how to prepare for the delivery, how to prepare for the speech. Well, every single time you see someone who's delivering a speech, you might get a thought that I can't do this. This is probably very time bound. Time creates pressure on my head, or probably, I can talk, but when I talk, I'm more comfortable in talking in flow rather than scripting something and being in the boundaries of that script. Well, I personally believe these are very natural questions, very natural doubts for us to all have. But if we are giving a speech, if our talk is time bound, especially if it is like time bound for a very lesser time, like for 5 minutes or 1 minute or 2 minutes, it's extremely important for us to craft in a way so that we are able to build the impact, we're able to create the impact, more impact rather, in lesser time, which means that every single thing which we say has to be powerful. And as I always say that less is more. Instead of getting repetitive there, how about structuring it in a way so that it creates an impact and influence the people who are listening to it. So the number one thing which we need to be aware of is that if we have a deadline to deliver our speech, let's not rush into it. It's extremely important for us to have our first draft ready at least 3 to 4 days in ahead, so that we have enough time to be able to redo it or rethink into it. Because many of the times when we do something for the first time, we only I personally say this, we only get to the first layer of our own thought process. Sometimes when we go deeper into it, it's not going deeper into the speech, we actually go deeper inside our own self, and it might take a little longer time for some of us. So when you go to the same script again, to the same craft of yours again, you might find another version, another way of putting it. So what I would say is, the first thing is, go and make your first draft. Like when I have to make this the craft of what India means to me, I think I went through almost five draft versions of it. The first one was like, it was a complete scribble of writing everything which I knew, everything which I liked, everything which I read about it, and then I started striking off the things which I was not able to relate to, and kept things which I was able to relate to. So that was the first version, was everything dumped into a Word document. That's how I did it, dumped into a Word document, scripted everything, read from different places on Google, and put it everything in place, knowing more about India, penning down more things, what I actually personally didn't know about India, getting to know about it. Now once I did one, my second step was to kind of cross and remove the things which I was not able to relate to, and started keeping the things which were more closer to me, more closer to my own heart and to my life. Now that was the second version. Now third version was to further remove the lines to make it shorter. So this is how step by step I moved from the draft version to the next version, finally coming to a smaller, which a smaller script, and then starting to make it powerful. So this took me at least five versions of that script for me to come to the final version. And I'm going to be very open in here. For me, the last, even before I went on the stage, I took off some 2 3 lines out of it, because I wanted that to keep it short, and to keep it more impactful. So see, when you're preparing, first thing is, don't rush into it. Start early so that you have enough time to walk over it, and every single time you'll walk over it, you'll find new different vocabulary, new different ways to be able to express the same thing. Now the second thing is, know it for a fact that when you are doing the preparation, when you have written your script, it is yours. You are able to resonate with every single word which you have written. Sometimes what we do is, we pick up words from somewhere else, even though we are not very comfortable saying that. Now if we are not, then we will not be able to connect our heart to it. So see that all the lines and all the words are your words. I still remember, in one of my speech, I had written a poem. Now, I'm not a very poetic person. I'm not someone who does it very often, but just to make it more impactful, that was the time I kind of got it included into the script. But over the time, what I realize is that this is not me. I've never done this, so maybe I don't know if that's something which is going to be coming naturally to me when I'm going to be talking about it on the stage. So last day I actually removed that poem, that I don't want a poem in my script, because I'm not a person who has done a lot of poem kind of a concept. I'm more towards a quote kind of a person instead of going a poem kind of a person. So see, when you're preparing yourself, your script is authentic. Now the next part of it is, Sometimes people say, I don't know, I just can't say it. I can just say it in flow. I cannot be confined to the boundaries. But if your talk is timeline, you need to make sure that you script it well, and you also practice. Like if I have to give a speech of 1 minute or 90 seconds, I just can't just go on and say whatever I have and whatever I remember. I need to really prepare, and nobody knows it at one shot. We need to remember it, we need to memorize it, and we have to practice is enough. We need to time ourselves enough. And I do not have the count of how many times I had actually timed my script to see whether I'm saying it on time, or I'm going off time. Now, a couple of the things which we need to remember here is that when we write something and we talk, we just read and speak it, it might take lesser time. But when you get into it and you're going to be adding your body language to it, you're going to be adding your pauses, your stresses, your whole expression, your whole personality to your speech, it might take more time. So that's the place you need to see that once you have written it, you have memorized it, you have timed it couple of the times by just reading it and remembering it. When you go to the final one, in terms of using your body language, in terms of using that pauses, using those stress, that's the moment for you to know that whether it has come into the right timing. So always, if you're preparing for a script which you have prepared for 1 minute 30 seconds, just prepare for 1 minute 15 seconds, because for 15 seconds some pauses and little here and there, when you're talking about it, you will always go. It's not like word by word you will remember, but you'll go little off the track as well, so that so you're still able to keep the buffer for this extra here and there which you're going. Now, another part to it which I did personally was, I spoke, and I spoke with conviction, and I recorded it, and then I listened to it again. So this is another thing which I had done for myself while preparing for my speeches, and it really helped. It helped me to memorize it faster. Now, once we have done that, then you've remembered those lines. After that, for me personally, I had made I had made 4 lines, 4 line paragraph. That's how I kind of splitted my complete speech, that this is 4 line, then this is 4 line, this is 4 line. I used to only remember the top first line, and then rest used to be just flowing. So what was I was doing by doing that is I was creating mental slots in my mind, that I have one slot, I have another slot, I have third slot, I have fourth slot, and I have fifth slot, and then my speech is done. Instead of in my mental map, instead of keeping it as a complete paragraph, I actually slotted the speech in my mind, and that's how I remembered. So for me, I only had to remember 5 words, 5 themes of my speech when I am going there to deliver. And the words, rest of it flowed because of the practice which I had done. So make sure that you have, I hope all of these little things could help you to be able to prepare it in advance. The one of the thing which I really going to be strongly recommending is that give yourself at least a day of practice, because if you're going to be rushing into writing it and then not having the time of practice, then you will not have that command over your own craft. Sometimes, like personally me, I'm very fast in writing and putting my thoughts onto the paper, but then when I have to see it in the timeline, I always go off time. I'll always be spilling over the time. So which means that I need a lot of practice personally to time my speech, to see that my body language and my expressions are also, when attached to my speech, are within the timelines. So make sure that you practice a lot. Now, last but not the least, couple of the things, one more thing which I would suggest is just look out for any speaker whom you appreciate, and you can always watch them, because sometimes we need that energy. You can internalize that energy for them. And as Tony Robbins also say, and it's a concept of NLP, that when we look at someone, when we get inspired by someone, we not only we can always internalize their emotion as well, internalize their emotion, internalize their energy, and that automatically will change your body language. That will automatically will put a strength, a power into your delivery. So this is a very interesting thing. I did that, and it really helped me in terms of modeling, as we say, right? It's called as modeling, as usually Tony Robbins says it as. So it's called as modeling. You can say it for yourself. Last but not the least, a quick one which I'm going to be sharing with you all is practice in front of a mirror. watch yourself, look at yourself, look at your own expressions, look at how you're using your body, how you're using your pauses, your stress, how your expressions look like, and see if you can make it, if there's any place you feel you need to go a little more, just add to it. And if at any place you feel like you need to go a little lesser, just go lesser to it. But practice in front of the mirror for you to be able to see your own self. So I hope these tips added value to your life. Do share with me that how did you find them. I'm going to be wishing you all the best for whatever speech you need to prepare for yourself in your life.